Today, we're gonna destroy some stuff. Frequencies, to be exact. Hey, what's up? Husman here. And as you might have seen on my socials, I've been diving into some more mid-tempo, cyberpunk-ish kind of music, and the reason being is that I want to develop my sound into something a little bit different than I usually do, still keeping the core elements, of course, from what makes my music, but evolving it and seeing what I can come up with and making my music cooler. Now, what I really like to do, as you can probably tell from my page impact, is I love sound designing, and recently I've dived into more of the hardstyle kick sound designing, where you basically just destroy the frequency spectrum with distortion. Well, for the bass lines that I'm going to show you today, that's actually the same thing. It's really fun. It's basically using like guitar amplifiers or distortion units to really amplify, destroy a sound, and then in the end limit and compress it to a more lovelier, more nicer end product. But let's dive into Ableton and I'll show you what I mean. So this is the sound that we're going to make today, and it's actually this kind of pattern. And what I like the most is when you take off everything and keep just serum, you have this. Pretty useless, you have to say, but I love it when something that's so terrible can turn into something so cool. So this is the preset in Serum. Actually, the only thing I made to make the sound differently is add a pulse width modulation, basically just stretching this thingy a little bit. And what happens is when you tweak this, it becomes a bit thinner, and for these kind of bass lines, you want to have the sound itself thin so you can really beef it up with distortion. As you can see, there's only a little bit of cutoff modulation going on, but that's basically the sound. So let's head over to the fun stuff. So let's see the chain and what's actually built up of. It starts with the destroying of the frequencies in the EQ. And here we really accentuate the mid frequencies to really boost them up. And if I ever give you advice on mixing after seeing this video, I agree with you that you might not take as much advice from me in mixing, because this doesn't make that much sense at the moment. But afterwards we add a pedal, which is actually sort of a, it replicates like a guitar pedal. That's what it should be doing. And I set it on the store, but you can play around with this, like before, after. Gives it some beefiness, which I really like. And you can see when I play around with this, it's super awesome. It really gives that gritty feel. Now afterwards I go crazy again. Actually, I first accidentally did this, but then I was like, if I tone it down afterwards, it could be really cool. So if I now increase it, gives it just a bit more of a unique tone. Of course, I put some utility afterwards, so I take down the volumes a little bit. And then afterwards, of course, OTT to beef it up again. And then I did some minor, like, specific EQ tweaks to just take out some of the annoying harmonics of the sound. And then again, take down the volume. So far we went from to a more decent sounding bass line. Now afterwards I have an optional redux, which could be cool to add a little bit more of noise, a little bit more of a high frequency on top. But not sure you need it. And then one thing I did hear in a lot of synthwave songs that I've been listening to lately is that they add some movement with it, with some delay. And of course you don't want a delay in the high end or the low end, you just want in the middle. And not too much feedback, like nothing at all. Also gives a bit of width to it. And you can see it still has that mid frequency range. Then afterwards I have a reverb, but it's actually more of a creative reverb. I've recently bought the complete Ultimate Pack, which got a lot of cool native instrument sound. One of these is the Native Instruments Realm. And the Realm plugin has a lot of cool presets, but it's not for putting it actually into a hall like I usually do with my Ableton reverb. But this is more of getting like a texture to it. So if I crank this all the way up, it just gives it a nice little blend, but then of course take it down a bit. And of course, when you don't have a lot of low end in here because it's distorted all the way. So I layer that, of course, with a low, like just a sine wave, which you might even not hear. Combine that with some drums. And the cool thing is this is really modular. You can use this chain like I did. I just saved the chain. You can use it on different kind of bass lines. Of course, you can also tweak the frequency range that you send before and after the distortion. And for instance, I did it on a different kind of preset. I made another one, which just like, instead of the pedal, I used the amp. So again, on its own. Again, EQ, an amplifier, and then utility and OTT. So again, lots of different ways how you can make some cool gritty bass lines with just destroying stuff. And I don't know about you, but I really like destroying stuff. So that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. By the way, guys, if you want to be part of a really cool community, I do have a Discord below in the description where I share my knowledge, I share sounds back and forth with my Discord members, and we will be doing some live streams soon as well, which is a really cool way for me to interact with all of you guys. I also have a Patreon where I share monthly sounds, where I also do teaching, one-on-one sessions. That's a great platform if you want to get some fresh sounds and also learn something along the way, and in turn help me as a creative out financially, which is much appreciated. Finally, I also have a video game that I'm working on, Wrath of the Mad King. If you want to be notified whenever something important happens in the development of the game, head over to the Steam page also below and check out everything that I'm working on there. I hope this gives you some cool inspiration for some gritty bass lines. I hope to see some of those cool bass lines in your upcoming music. But that's all for me this week. If you like what I do, hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. And I'll see you all on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.